Hello, forward thinkers, and welcome to another episode of Expats Unpacked. Today we have Liam Quirk with us, founder of Quirky, an award winning SEO agency. Liam, thank you for joining us. So, I know that you started Quirky in Liverpool. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey? What made you come up with this startup and what brought you to Cyprus?
Sure. Yeah, no, sounds interesting. So I have been in search engine optimization for pretty much my whole career. So I left school at 16, didn't go to university, and had a family member who was already working in a similar industry to what we're in now. And so he was my uncle, and he, as with many people with the nephews and the nieces, they get them helping out with doing a little bit of work, and I was helping out with writing content for websites, and I was often found myself doing this in evenings while I was studying for like my exams in high school. And I actually found out that it was something I was like really passionate about at a very young age. So it was quite rare. So I've not really done anything else. And I worked for lots of other businesses providing similar services. So like full service digital marketing agencies, but I was always the SEO guy. Um, and I made the decision just before COVID, which was a crazy time to start a business. But fortunately at the time, I was still living with my parents. I didn't really have massive overheads. It didn't feel like a big risk at all. And I decided that, although I've worked for some great companies in the past, there was nobody really running the business how I wanted to run a business. And yeah, at this point, I had about 6 years experience in the industry. And I felt confident enough within myself to be able to actually set up and start an agency by myself. Um, when I actually made that decision, I had the ultimate goal of becoming a digital nomad,
Mm.
being able to travel, to different parts of the world, work from, like in different cultures, work with different types of people, work with different types of clients. And that was something that I was really passionate about. Obviously, COVID happened, which made it very difficult to travel. And obviously, went away, managed to actually get away. So the UK was probably one of the strictest places when it comes to lockdowns. And I remember it was probably around this time, yeah, in 2020. So yeah, um, it was November. We had Boris Johnson who was running the country. He became a bit of a meme in the end, but he actually put my local area, which is Merseyside, which is near Liverpool, actually put up specifically our region into a lockdown.
Why
And
was it, hotspot for COVID?
yeah, yeah, and it wasn't the only area, but there
Yeah.
were a few other places, and people thought it was political. I don't think it was. It genuinely was because it was a hotspot for COVID, and what people know about the area itself. They don't like to follow the rules, should we say? They like to do things their own way, and that might be the reason why we got put into the lockdown. But
Evident by you quitting school and starting your own business. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. But obviously, during COVID, when that next lockdown happened and we got put into local lockdown, I went on to Skyscanner
Mm.
and actually just typed in like from Liverpool to anywhere. The next day, I just wanted to get out of the place. And I was looking at all the different places you could fly to the next day. And I was going online and checking whether these places actually had lockdown restrictions. The place I ended up coming to was, Liverpool to Paphos, and actually taking that flight.
But Paphos had restrictions, right? Didn't you have to spend 2 weeks in a hotel or something? I know they did that for some period of time, but
Not at this time. I
not
know
at
they
that
did
time.
go into restrictions at some point, which actually made me onto my
Hmm.
next trip. But it was interesting. I remember turning up at Paphos Airport, not really knowing what to expect. I knew a lot of people that had come here before, and really liked the place. But the first thing I was welcomed with was a big stick up my nose to test whether I had COVID and down my throat. So yeah, we were told not to leave the hotel until the test results had come through. Fortunately, I didn't have COVID, and that was my first taste of Cyprus. And obviously, as time's gone on, I haven't just spent, my time purely in Cyprus, but it's a place which during that time I built up quite a few connections here. I met some, great people that are, some of them are my closest friends today. Some of them are locals. Some of them are other people from, the UK, Poland, who have actually relocated to Cyprus and really got on well with them. So it was a place that, I'd never had any intention of doing what I've done and actually open a base here. But it was a place that I gradually found myself coming back to.
Yeah, but you
Uh,
did it at the right time because 10 years ago, Cyprus was very different, the business landscape and the tech landscape. And I think in the last 10 years, there's so many headquarters in Limassol, so many new businesses, foreign businesses that come and start here or have a base here. So I think you came at the right time to take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's right. Because I think a lot of, when I was telling like my clients back in the UK, they just thought of, most of them thought of Cyprus as being a place that you come on holiday.
Mm.
And I seen something very different even around that time during COVID. And a lot of people that I met, tech entrepreneurs were doing really good things. Yeah. And I think it was, um, obviously, as time's gone on, at that point, it was only me in the business. So it was just me really doing what I wanted to do, and that was what I wanted to create. Obviously, when I went back to the UK, like a couple of months after, I made the decision that I actually wanted to grow the agency and grow the business into what it is today. So obviously we've grew. We're a team of 20 now, and we have clients, all over the world, and
And you're
quite a
an
few.
award-winning company. I think you won the Global Search Award in the B2B category, and the best use of search in finance and at the Global Search Awards,
Yeah,
right? Anything I skipped?
there are a few other awards, but they're the
Yeah.
ones that are probably the most prestigious,
Hmm.
globally. So we've done a lot of good local work, which I'm really proud of, and we built up a good base in our home city. But the ambition for me was always to be able to grow a global agency, so I can meet people from different cultures, which kind of goes back to the reason I started the agency in the first place was because I wanted to be able to travel and not be bound to one location. And us actually, so we won the first Global Search Award last year, and that was in Poland, and that was for the best use of search in finance, which was probably the proudest moment of my life to date, to be honest, which is really good. And then last month in Dublin, um, unfortunately I wasn't there, but some of the team were, and we managed to win the best use of search in B2B. So that was really proud because we actually went away, we did a campaign, we submitted that as the award, and it was judged by other people in our industry. So people that
Yeah, and it's a
would,
very competitive market,
yeah,
I
yeah,
would assume.
yeah, like both B2B and finance, there were lots and lots of people that actually submitted their case studies, and the fact that other people in our industry actually voted on it based off the creativity, the innovation, and the actual impact of the clients. That's probably what makes me the proudest, because some awards even might be about popularity or who sponsors the events,
Mm.
and but this one struck home, and the actual impact of us winning them awards has it's led to us win some really big accounts, which is ultimately what we wanted.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you start your SEO company in 2019 or around that time.
Yeah.
From there until now, so many things have changed, especially not only COVID, but also the introduction of AI, which has completely shifted the way people search for information on the internet. So how did you adjust to that? I think that the fact that you didn't go to university might have played into your advantage because you've learned by doing in real life scenarios and you're not stuck to the knowledge provided to you. But I want to know how you adjust to these changes.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I feel like we're still adjusting now. It's obviously AI is changing all the time. It's getting better and better.
Mm.
More people are getting access to it. And one thing that I've always, pretty much how I set the business up, was that we always wanted to be ahead of the game. And that means often, employing more people. It often, involves investing in new technology. It often involves working really late at night, so delivering work for clients in the day and in the evening, actually testing new strategies. And that's something which it's not just a value of the agency, but I'd probably say it's a value of myself. It's, as you said, I was never clever enough to go to university. I couldn't sit in a classroom. I couldn't necessarily um, be told what to do, should you say? And it's still still the case today. However, the positive side of that is the fact that I will always try to work out things my own way, which has meant that I've made lots and lots of mistakes, and I make probably mistakes every single day still. But obviously, the um, the positives have certainly outweighed the negatives, and we've made more positive decisions than negative decisions. And I think that with the introduction of AI, there are lots of instances where you might waste money on software, you might waste time trying to deliver certain strategies for clients. And the interesting thing for me is that, like, everyone talks about AI, and our clients, literally every time I'm on a call, with my team and with the clients, it's always the way the conversation goes. Everyone hears about it in the news. Everyone's talking about it, even like, in the restaurants, which is real, it's a real change. It goes to show how the world's going. So we always get asked about it, and we don't necessarily ever want to recommend anything to our clients which we haven't tried or tested. So we have like our own network of websites. We have our own websites where we test different strategies on them. So if someone's saying this is working for AI, we'll actually go away, try it on this website. If it doesn't work, then we'll make a decision as to whether we should try replicate that same thing on a client's website. So we've done that through testing. We've done that through a lot of hard work, a lot of mistakes, and the important thing to note is that it doesn't matter. Like the stuff that's working now won't be working in a
Next
year's
year,
time,
yeah.
and then that's just the nature of our business. And for some people, that's stressful. For businesses that are much bigger than ours, I can imagine that implementing change is obviously a lot more difficult. Whereas I think we're at the stage now where maybe in a couple of years' time we might struggle to implement change as quickly as we can now. But we've got a very creative team, a very ambitious team that they're all aligned with our values. So when it comes to me coming into the office with a crazy new idea, some people will have open ears to it, and not necessarily saying we roll things out for everyone right away, but we do have that culture of being able to test things.
Interesting. So, do you think that in the next couple of years or 5 years, the traditional way that we search online will die? Because, for example, now a lot of companies, their goal is to come number one on the Google search engine or whatever other search engine. And then you click on their website, you're more likely to click on their website. But now Google introduced the AI mode. So it might give you the information you want without you even clicking on the website. It might source it at the end, but how likely am I to actually go in the website? How do you work around that?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. It's one that I've had some sleepless nights about. Yeah, because obviously it is a real threat. In my opinion, like, search is always changing. So even if we go back, like a couple of years ago, Google primary was the primary place where people search. Right now, I mean, and I'm sure this is the same for the Cypriot market, from the research that I've seen. But I know in the UK market, when people are searching for hotels or people are searching for places to travel, they're not really using Google as much anymore. They might be using TikTok and the other search engines to be able to actually consume video content, so you can get a taste of what's going on before they actually go there. So there've always been changes. Like, even when I started in SEO, Bing was a prominent search engine. It's still about now, don't get me wrong. Yahoo was a relevant search engine. Google Ads weren't really as prominent. When people search locally, they'll search through Google Maps as opposed to traditional Google search. So the nature of the SEO beast is that it's not necessarily just Google as a search engine that you need to optimize for. It's making sure that your clients are at the forefront of wherever people are searching. And that's a mindset shift. And often it comes with a lot of challenges because strategies might be slightly different. But it is one of them things where I know that at this point, we've got clients across different industries. So and different cultures. So, as an example, we've got some clients that are based in India, Asia, UAE, the ones that are in the Forex market. Some of them are making serious amounts of money through ranking on ChatGPT.
Hmm.
And they're doing that now. Whereas our clients that are targeting the same target market in the UK and the US, although that's growing, it's not growing nowhere near as much as it has in the other regions. So it is it's obviously making sure that you've got like a multi-channel approach for each of your different regions. And that's something which is important. There will be threats with AI mode, as you said, where, you won't necessarily be, there won't be we call them, the blue list of results. There won't be 10 results there anymore. I think that definitely in the next year or so is that AI mode, Google are going to try to push that hard on people and potentially make it a default browser.
Hmm.
However, it's making sure that the clients are being recommended on them. Okay, the clicks might drop, but people are still going to go with that recommendation. And that's the way I look at things. Like now, when it comes to talking about search, it's search now is becoming more about recommendations, and it's a recommendation engine. And how do you get your clients recommended? Doesn't matter where that is, and that's what the ultimate goal is going to be.
So you're building authority, which is a big theme in your mission as a company. So what does it mean for you to really have a business build authority, and how do you measure that if it's not with clicks anymore?
Yeah, so that's something I'm really passionate about, and it comes back to the changes which are happening in the AI world. No one knows where things are going to go. People can make predictions. The goal for our clients, although right now and when we start a campaign, let's say it's a Forex broker, they want to show it when people search for Forex broker. What we try to do is that's, the immediate goal, and that's what we're working towards. But as that process is going on through our content creation, through our digital PR, we try to make our clients like famous. That's what we try to say, and to a point where don't actually become reliant on search engines. So it doesn't matter where people are searching; people actually start searching for the brand. So that becomes the first point of call, as opposed to someone searching for a new provider. And that's what, when I say build an authority, like that is the authority. You want more people searching for your brand. And people say that as some people in the SEO world say that isn't a measure of SEO success. People actually searching for your brand name, but I think it is. And I think that when it comes back to the original question of how do you measure it, is there's tools out there where you can actually see how many people search for your brand. Google gives you tools on how many people actually type in your brand name and click back to your website. And for us, that's the ultimate goal. So that's through content production, digital PR, whether that's through like traditional PR, getting people featured in newspapers, whether it's radio advertising, the goal has got to be towards getting more people searching for the brand name, because that in itself is a signal to search engines as well.
Thank you. Okay, so you're in Cyprus now, and you have partnered with our very own Digital Tree company to bring your expertise to Cyprus. I want you to tell me a little bit about this collaboration and how it happened. But also, I want to know if you have any advice for Cypriot businesses that might want to, better their SEO.
Sure. Yeah, I'll answer that in two different sides then. So to begin with, digital trees, that's something that come about through, we've got a non-executive director within our business who has had conversations with Digital Tree in the past, and someone I, trust fully. They're an integrated, part of our business, and they obviously knew about our plans to go global. And, we realized that we had quite a few clients that are based in Cyprus, had headquarters in Cyprus, and clients that were actually looking to advertise in the Cypriot market. And we were looking at a few different options in terms of places that we could expand into. And at this point, my mind was pretty much set on Cyprus. I actually, was introduced to the CEO of Digital Tree, who's Fanos, and from the initial conversation right away, I could see that Digital Tree and their group of companies had very similar values to us, and it was that they take pride in the local markets. They love working with the local Cypriot brands, similar to like us, in our home city. But we had global ambitions, and obviously where Cyprus is located, it's there's obviously easy routes into different parts of Europe. There's easy routes into obviously the Middle East as well, like the GCC countries. And I know from the conversations I had, they still had a lot of clients in the space, and from the instant conversation, I could see that there was things that they do really well, which we don't offer our clients. Obviously, there's such a broad spectrum of services. But to reverse that, obviously, Digital Tree had a lot of clients who could benefit from SEO and didn't necessarily have like the systems in place to be able to deliver it. So that's how the conversation come about. It started with like a few of Digital Tree's internal projects, and right away we could see that there was synergy between the two teams. And yeah, it seems like every time I come to these offices, I make more friends, and I think that's like a good sign that you're working with a good company. And we've had partnerships with other companies in the past, and some of them are successful, and the ones that are successful are ones where you feel as if although we're in different parts of the world. Obviously, my team are headquartered in Liverpool, in the UK. It seems like there's a lot of similarities, and that makes things so much easier, because if I have an idea, a crazy idea, Thanos most of the
You
time,
need a crazy
yeah,
company to partner with.
that's it, and vice versa. So when Thanos has ideas, I don't call them crazy, and vice versa, and that's always a good sign, because that means that you're enjoying your work. You're never really banging heads or clashing, and that's what I really enjoy, and what makes me want to go into work, because that's what I've built back in the UK as well. So it's interesting, and obviously with the Cypriot markets, we've seen that there are traditionally there are businesses that, and then this is from my personal experience, coming here as an expat, coming here as someone who hasn't spent years and years here. There are a lot of really big companies here that they do have international ambitions, and they do want to grow. And from like a social media point of view, you can see that they're doing a really good job on social media. People know who they are, but from a search engine perspective, that didn't look like what was going on there. And the beauty of obviously the SEO strategies that we create is that they are international. So whether it's targeting the Greek language, English language, Arabic language, whether you're targeting like German markets, we can help clients that are located here that might have different offices around the world, and we can roll them strategies out pretty easily. And obviously, because we've got a base here, we can maintain the face-to-face relationships. Whereas I think that's quite rare. There's no one else really doing it here. And I think that's the thing that has like stood out from the conversations that I have with other Cypriot brands, is that there hasn't really been this level of expertise before. And I'm proud to be able to bring it here.
So what's next for Quirky? What's your next stop?
There's loads. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on. We've seen a lot of growth over the past year, which is really exciting. A lot of it has come through, as we talked about the awards, people seeing that we can deliver these, really in-depth strategies. But the main thing for me and the agency is making sure that our clients are ahead of the curve, and that's the thing. And whether that's AI, whether that's there are crazy things going on in the world at the moment. Certain search engines are being banned in certain parts of the world, and the main thing for us is making sure that the clients that we've got now, and because as I said, when we started the agency, people were coming to us with the issue of we need to show power on Google. Now it's so much broader that, what the issue might be. It might be that now AI overviews are stopping the client from getting clicks on Google, and it's actually reverse engineering that and making sure that we can get our clients showing up on AI overviews. So it's making sure that we can deal with all these requests essentially, and it's an exciting time. It's obviously a challenging time at the same time, but it's what I'm in business for, is to solve challenges and work with great people. So there are sleepless nights. My hair's getting thinner. All these things are going on. But it's, as I said, I think for us to get where we need to be, the expansion with Digital Tree, the expansion into offering services on ChatGPT, Perplexity, like TikTok SEO, it's all really exciting.
Great. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you some fun rapid fire questions.
Let's do it.
I want to know one SEO myth you wish would disappear forever.
Okay, there's loads, but if I could choose one, I would go with, I know I keep talking about Google in a negative light here, but a lot of people...
We love Google.
Yeah, we love Google sometimes. However, the one thing that there's always the myth of like whatever Google says goes. And I don't know how quickly you want me to answer this, but I could go down a rabbit hole.
Let's do it. I'm interested.
Let's do it. Okay. So some people in the SEO industry take what Google says as gospel, follow the rules. And I go back to what I said earlier. I don't like following the rules. And there's different sides of SEO. There's white hat SEO and not doing everything that Google says. There's black hat SEO where some of it probably involves breaking the law. Where I like to sit is grey hat. And I think most really good SEOs and big SEO agencies like loiter on the edge of what Google's telling you not what to do. And I'll use a very recent example. So in Google's search quality rater guidelines, they actually tell you not to use AI to scale content up on your website, not to use AI tools like ChatGPT. And that's been in there pretty much since ChatGPT come out because people were abusing it. A few days ago, Google have actually released their own tool to create AI generated content, despite them telling you not to do it.
Yeah, because they wanted to do it.
they want a piece of the pie, and that's the thing is like, although Google's telling you not to do certain things now, although they've got a big market share and big monopoly, and I can't talk too badly about them because Google have essentially built my career and put clothes on my back and all that type of stuff. However, they will tell you certain things and then they'll actually contradict it a few months later. And I think I am a big believer in testing things yourself.
And have the critical thinking of, this might work, this break of the rule might be beneficial.
Yeah, and you don't want to put your clients at risk, of course, but that's why we have our own websites where we will test things. And, we've got our own website banned in the past and we say, right, we don't do that for clients. And you test it first before you roll it out. And that's something which has allowed us to, really thrive, to be honest. And, we've used our own website as our own case studies in the past. And we've been able to show things that other people can't show because they've never tried it before. So that's don't listen to what Google say all of the time.
So what's an underrated SEO tactic that actually works?
Okay. So this is one that works right now. It works right now. This is going back to building authority. So a big part of SEO is getting mentions on other people's websites. So in the SEO game, we call them backlinks or brand mentions. People think to get brand mentions, you need to spend a lot of money on PR. You need to create a lot of content. You need the newspapers to talk about it. And people think that that's always a big investment. It's not. So there's platforms out there. So, for example, any journalists that are watching this, they'll know that when they're writing stories, they're looking for someone to provide commentary. So, for example, you guys are writing something about SEO and you wanted an expert to comment on it. I'd like to think that you come to me to send the question over. But the are platforms out there for journalists that don't actually have experts that they know. So one thing that we've built an actual team to deliver this within our company, to actually go away and connect journalists with our clients. So let's say, something that might be going on, like for example in the UK and similar to Cyprus, there's a lot of changes going on with regard to property law at the moment. Um, let's say a newspaper is going away and writing a piece of coverage, a story about property law. We would then connect them with our property law clients to actually be able to signpost them and say, this is a person you need to speak to. In return for the comments, they want to link back to their website. Mm. So there are platforms out there, it's underrated. So you've got Twitter. So if you go on Twitter and type in #journo request, you'll see all these stories, UK journalists, US journalists, European journalists looking for people that they can link to. And then you've got platforms as well. So we use one called Quoted, where there are literally hundreds of these requests every day. And it's, if you're a, in-house marketing person, if you're a founder of a business and you don't have big budget to invest into backlinks, which is the most difficult part of SEO, just become friends with journalists. And then you can do that through these different platforms.
Yeah, we do it all the time. So yeah. I actually think that's a great, because we never charge for comments, for codes. But if somebody comes and says, I want a backlink to one of your articles, we'll charge. So yeah, it's a very nice walk around.
Yeah, and just to add to that as well, doesn't just help with SEO, but for example, we're working with real estate agents in New Jersey in America, and they're trying to be seen as being more credible in their industry because they're a startup brand, and we've managed to get them featured in major publications. And they can actually use them logos of their major publications on their website mm-hmm. to say they've been featured in them. Mm-hmm. So right away, that acts as social proof to potential clients that these know what they're talking about because they've been featured in these well-known US publications. And typically, you'd have to pay a PR company thousands and thousands of pounds to be featured, whereas this just takes up a small chunk of your time.
I've seen a lot of people that go to Shark Tank not to get the deal, just to get the as seen or on Shark Tank kind of content.
Yeah.
One thing you do daily to stay ahead of search trends.
It's probably nothing special, to be honest, but LinkedIn is. I've probably spent more time on LinkedIn than any other social media platform. I've probably spent more time on LinkedIn than time with my family, which says a lot. And that's been a daily habit probably since I left school. So, and I go back, actually, I did a post a few weeks ago. Like my first ever LinkedIn post was me posting my resume on LinkedIn. And this was 11 or 12 years ago now. First ever post. Had spelling errors all over it, didn't use any commas, no proper grammar. And probably since that day where I uploaded that CV, which makes me laugh when I read it, and it makes me quite proud looking back on it. Every day I've grew my network on it, and I don't have a massive network, but I've got a really engaging network of other SEO people, other business people that I've met, and I have my favorite people that I look at, and I look at their content. And as I said, I never take anything as gospel. I never, I always look at things and think, that's interesting. And then we'd go away and test it on our own websites. And that's the one thing that I think, there are lots of negatives about social media. Like I personally, used to love Instagram. I don't go on it anymore. TikTok, if I go on that, I just end up watching videos for hours and hours. So like on my phone now, the only social media app I have is LinkedIn. And that is purely like, as I said, I spend more time doing that than anything else. And
I sometimes use Twitter because I think sometimes information is more fast on Twitter. But other than that, it's becoming, a whole different universe in there.
It is, yeah.
I refuse to call it anything other than Twitter.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah. So what's one mistake brands often make when trying to do SEO?
Yeah, there's the one that you see all the time now is relying too heavily on AI, right? So I remember when ChatGPT first come out, and I keep saying ChatGPT, but there are other AI platforms if you're watching. But the ChatGPT is the one that everybody was using, and majority of the market share now. When that come out, people thought they could use it for absolutely anything, and it helps with anything, but it doesn't deliver the same quality as somebody with experience that understands the ins and outs. And one thing we see all the time is we get clients come to us, or potential clients come to us and say, we wrote this SEO optimized content for our website, and Google won't find it or won't index it. They won't. So they're not going to end up with any clicks. And the common theme that I see here is that people are relying too heavily on AI. So they will just go into ChatGPT and type in, I make black tables. I want a category page on my website for black tables. Can you write an SEO optimized version of it with no other prompting, no other real, background knowledge of the product, no real understanding of the target audience, and you leave all of that to ChatGPT. And what does ChatGPT do? Spit out very generic content. And everyone's been doing this at the same time. So, like social media, search engines have been full with just noise, no value. And if everyone's using AI and using the same prompts, the output is very, very similar. And obviously, again, use Google as the example, their algorithms are very sophisticated. And although they've, as I mentioned before, they've brought out their own AI content writing tool, the issue that we've got at the moment is people don't know how to use it properly.
And I also think they fall into the trap. Back to what you said about Google being the Bible. Some people take what ChatGPT says as the Bible.
Yeah.
It's very hard to argue against something that's AI intelligent. And sometimes they forget to edit or to add their personal touch to it.
Yeah, that's it. And you see, from an SEO perspective, it's bad because you're not adding any value. And if you don't add value, why would Google show you at the top against people that are actually, providing real life experiences, that type of stuff, and actually speaking from authority. Whereas if it's all coming from AI and there's no human touch on top of it, everyone's just competing with each other and there's no real added value. And the issue that you have then is that the search results just become filled with rubbish. And when the search engines become filled with rubbish and people actually, they'll give feedback, because people actually will give feedback to Google, and there are people that are paid to go away and actually check the search results, and people don't realize that. And when the search results become filled with rubbish, search engines actually go away and think, right, we need to change our algorithms now. And what we experienced not long after ChatGPT was pretty much a clampdown on any content which sounds very similar. And there was an update around that. And people are still just thinking this is ChatGPT says it's AI SEO optimized, so it must be SEO optimized, and it's not. And people we come to and they're not getting any traffic through the website because of that. It's frightening. Yeah.
So what would be this year's motto of Quirky or of Liam Quirk?
Stay ahead of the game. Yeah, stay ahead of the game. So one of our values in our agency is innovation, and it says underneath it, stay ahead of the curve. Now it's stay ahead of the game, and it is, and that's what I'm on top of, is making sure that we're delivering what we need to deliver for our clients now, so that they make money, but also advising them on the future. And we don't control the future, but what we can do is make sure that we've covered as many bases as possible, so that when these changes happen, let's say AI mode happens, let's say Google gets banned in a country, we've got all the right fundamentals there to be able to say, okay, we might lost a bit of traffic here, but let's get you back here. And that for me is where my brain's at. And it's an exciting time.
Liam, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. I think we've learned so much about SEO. I'm happy you're in Cyprus. I wish you all the best. I hope your collaboration with Digital Tree only grows and becomes better. And I'm sure I'll see you very soon.
No, perfect. Thanks.
Thank you for watching another episode of Expats Unpacked. You can follow and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify, or you can find us on fastforward.com.cy. Until next time, keep inspiring.